Good morning.
Hello. I remembered to start Instagram today. You can see the
Nope.
phone there.
Oh,
Record.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the goal is not to like accidentally knock it over.
Knock it over.
If you hear fumbling and me cussing under my breath, I knocked it over.
You know why. That's right.
Well, hello everybody. Um, Wednesday. It is Wednesday morning, and I was going to ask. It's been a couple weeks, and it's Wednesday. How many people have watched the Wednesday Addams thing on Netflix? And if you like it, have you watched it yet, Marianne?
What?
Wednesday from the Addams Family. She's got her own show now.
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't watch that.
No, okay.
No.
Um, I had high hopes, and I myself was a little disappointed in that. They kind of turned her into a CW like mystery solving crime fighter, Scooby Doo meets Supernatural, and I'm like, this is not the Wednesday.
Who plays her on that program?
Her name is Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
I think she did well playing the character. It's how they wrote the character, what they have her doing. But what I love is Christina Ricci, who was the other Wednesday Addams friend. She's in there, but she's one of the teachers. So
See, and I don't care. I don't really care for her.
you don't like her? Okay.
No.
I
Yeah.
just liked that you had the two actresses who played that character, kind of interacting. Um, but I've had a lot of people, and they were very surprised that I wasn't like an automatic fan. They're like, "We thought this would be right up your alley," and I'm like, I had wanted it to be.
Yeah. No,
Um,
not this time.
Brooke is everywhere. Hello, Brooke. We got
Yeah.
Brooke probably over on Twitch and on YouTube, both YouTubes. It looks like mine and yours. So she's got multiple tabs running. Thank you, Brooke, giving all of us the watch time.
Jeez.
Another great pocket. Thank you. And I was going to say, who listened to that one this morning already? I was double checking last night, making sure that was all loaded up, and we're going to actually record a couple today when this live ends to get ready for the next 2 weeks for holiday.
And these will be holiday ones, right?
Yes. Oh, Melanie says her husband watched it and liked it. Cool. And I don't like what they did with Gomez. They did a good job, I think, matching and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He looked really close to the Gomez that were in the cartoons, plumper, bigger versus the gentleman who did it with Angela Houston. But they took away his suave, debonair. He was kind of like, to me, like a bumbling idiot. I'm like, that's not the Gomez that he should have been. But yeah, I'm like, I'm going to ask and see if our friends, because it's Wednesday, have they watched Wednesday? Will there be a Zoom in January? Yes, there will be. It's June 6th. It is active. We just put it up. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday. The
So
day before, one of them, yeah.
They're all blending together.
Yeah. It's December. Come on.
Right. So you can go and register for that. In the little bit of time that it's been up, we've already had people signing up, so don't wait too long. Oh, Angela Washington, she loved it. Awesome. Coins and Google. Hello, a lot of our old friends that we haven't seen a whole lot lately. Hello. Now we just need Lewis to show up and see if he listened to last week's episode, because it was based off of one of his questions. Somebody go find Lewis. Somebody go find him over in England for us and tell him to go listen. Mr. Miyagi asks, when someone has an attachment, how close does the earthbound stay to them? Is it a few feet?
It is your shadow. They are right with you pretty much all the time. And seriously, it doesn't happen that often where they're attached to you like that, in the same house. But somebody that wants to be right in your space, they are right next to you.
And Nancy, like she goes, whoop, there it is. It jumped. The Wednesday characters are closer to the creator, Charles Addams, New Yorker. They are. Like, they went back to the cartoon drawing and matched them that way. Here's Jules. Says, I need a crown on my tooth. Any recommendations for a dentist in Lake County that puts in the quince seeds?
No, I don't have anybody in Lake County. I do in Cuyahoga County. So, Jules, give me a call and with your number and everything, and I will give you the name of who I would recommend. And he's got a stash of seeds to use, so that'll work. But let me know. And he's an excellent dentist, and it's crazy. I will find somebody in Lake County because as of the middle of January, we will be living in Lake County. We're moving. So we will be going that way. So I have to find all kinds of that stuff in Lake County.
You're going to be well acquainted by like March.
Yeah, right.
Hello, Denise.
You have to get a vehicle with all-wheel drive, obviously, living in Lake County. But
you're going to need a raised up, big snow tires, chains. You're going to need all of that over there. Good thing you already have kind of a raised,
right.
crossover to get through that. Well, hello, Denise. Welcome. So if you are new like Denise, you can ask questions in chat about earthbound spirits, negative energy, portals, what kind of alerts Ted is getting on his computer. And Marianne will answer you live. And I say Marianne because usually those are more her questions. So you can ask live. And also about the TV show, The Ghost Whisperer, because Marianne, it was based off of you.
Surprisingly, yeah. I have to tell you, California people are unique. I love them, but they are in their own space, no doubt about it. And it's like, you live in Ohio? Do you have cows in your backyard?
No, corn. It's corn. We have corn in our backyard.
No, when they were asking me that, the guy that lived behind us had cows in the pasture.
Oh,
so there really were cows in the backyard.
Well, I mean, my house, because it's still mine, hopefully for only another year when, the tenant takes it completely over. When you drive out of that little bitty, this big of a town, right there on that intersection are big Angus bulls. And everybody stops and takes pictures with these bulls. And I'm like, they're just bull. But I mean, they got the big horns and everybody's like, look, picture with the cow.
Yeah, so, there's a farm down in Worcester that's got buffalo.
Oh, wow.
And people would stop and go look at them too. And it was so crazy. When we lived in Worcester, Ted would get up early in the morning and we had show dogs. So he would take care of the dogs and get ready for work. And he came to wake me up. It was time for me to get up. So he came in the bedroom to wake me up. And he's looking out the window and he said, Marianne, he says, there's a big cow in the front yard. I said, what? He said, there's a cow in the front yard. I went, okay. So I got out of bed and I looked and there was a cow in the front yard.
Well, you didn't have to mow your lawn.
And there was. And then a donkey walked down the. I said, oh, good. And now there's a jackass out there too.
The adventures of living in Ohio and your neighbor's cattle, like,
and so
for a visit.
He says, what do I do? I says, gosh, I don't know. So he says, well, it's obviously somebody's. He said, I'm going to go. And we had this pretty nice sour cherry tree out front. And he says, I'm going to go get the clothesline and I'm going to tie the cow to the tree. I said, Ted, do you know how to do that?
Ted's going to give it the good old try. I mean,
and he said, yeah, I can do that. So he goes out there and I'm just in my nightgown out the window watching him. And he takes my clothesline and he goes up to the cow. The cow didn't move or nothing. The cow was friendly. Mm-hmm. So he puts the rope around its neck and ties it. And he goes over to the tree. And the cow starts walking around the tree. The cow pinned Ted to the tree.
I'm telling you, we need a side podcast of the adventures of Ted. Just all the things this man has done in
And
life.
this is how smart we were. It was not a cow. It was a young black Angus.
Oh,
It was a 4-H project from down the farm about 2 miles, and his buddy was the jackass. The jackass got out and the cow followed him, or the black Angus. So, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I oh yeah, it's life.
I mean, the adventures of Ohio. You're liable to be driving down the road and see chickens running all over the place at any given point. Even in Lakewood. I
And
mean,
they don't bleed bad when you hit them. I've hit a number of chickens driving out in the country, and they don't bleed. They just sort of stick in the grill.
you do. I mean, I haven't hit a chicken, but I mean, I've had birds, like the one Avenger that I had. I don't know what about this car screamed, if you're a bird, commit suicide in front of me, because I could be driving down the highway and a bird would just swoop. And I'm like, quit doing this, please, because I feel bad.
Like, well, I feel bad about the chickens too, but what are you
Yeah.
going to do?
Yeah, especially if they're running out in the road. But yeah, the adventures of living in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
We had a follow-up question about the attachments. Are they with you in the shower?
Well, they're in the bathroom with you. Depends on who the ghost is if he's actually in the bathtub with you.
Like, what's that personality? Was he kind of a creep when he was alive? He might be a creep when he's dead.
Pretty much. I mean, if you feel somebody rubbing your back when you're in the shower or running their fingernails down your back, yeah, I would think he's in the shower with you.
Mm.
And
You can just wash it.
yeah, right. It's like, here's a sponge, wash while you're back there.
Yeah, be useful at least. Earn your keep. Thank you. Do they usually stay with one person or jump around from person to person, like at an event?
No, if they're attached to a very specific person, they will stay with that person. Absolutely. They'll go wherever you go, of course, but they will stay with you. Yeah.
And let's see. Oh, thank you, Melanie. She's watching on both channels. Thank you so much. And Joe wants to know if you were able to get your keys last week.
Yes, we got the keys to the house last week. We did.
And then everybody wants to know, why are you moving? Life.
Well, because as most of you know, Ted has been pretty sick and he's not supposed to go up and down steps anymore because of, we won't find out till next Monday exactly what it is. Hopefully the doctor's got an answer next Monday. So at any rate, so just as an example, yesterday was Tuesday. By 3:00 yesterday afternoon, he had been downstairs at least 12 times. Yeah, that's not working real well. You know, if he falls or passes out on this floor, I hear it because it sounds like the roof is caving in. But if he falls downstairs on a concrete floor,
You won't hear it.
and my cats don't act anything like Lassie. They would never come upstairs and get me and tell me that he fell. They don't
Like,
do
oh,
that.
we can sit with him now.
That's right. We can sit on his chest and he can't move. Aha. So, so that's one of the reasons. Plus, we are going to be very, very close to where my daughter Tara and son-in-law live. So, so if I have to go someplace, Tara will be close. And it's just a convenience. Timing is bad, but it's a convenience.
Mhm.
In all honesty, at our age, I guess it's better than a nursing home.
Which Reno already said he's putting me in a home. He's like, you're going to be too feisty. I'm not putting up with you.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, well, you're out of the will when I make it.
That's right.
Nancy says, while walking, I feel like someone is right behind. If I stop short, I expect to bump into me. No one is there. What to do?
If you feel that energy that strong, there could be somebody that is attached to you. That's very possible. If you've had any pictures taken of you and it looks like there's a mist around you or a fog around you, or like a streak of lightning around you, that could be the energy from somebody that is attached to you. But now, if you see an orb when you take a picture, that's a good one. But your guardian angel or a spirit guide wouldn't be that close to you where they'd bump into you if you stopped.
Mm. Now, Swifty says, I did the law of abundance, but have been absolutely bleeding money. I wear Quincy 24/7, so it's not negative energy. What could be going on?
You know what? We all, you don't know about bleeding money. Try moving in this day and age. So believe me, but you know what? Timing is everything. Not everything that goes wrong in your house is a ghost, or anything that happens to you is a curse. Life happens. I wish that if everybody wore a Quincy, that we would all be living in, la la land, and it would be wonderful. But life, it's not like that, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And I saw you not that long ago. You were clear. I don't think there's anything attached to you.
I personally, with like the business and everything that I do, I seem to go through periods where it feels like money's going out quicker than it's coming in. And what I remind myself is after that time period is done, and it's not like it's months and months, it might be like a month, month and a half, something goes wrong. Then all of a sudden, like this backflow of abundance just kind of comes in and fills in. So I always try to remind myself, like, don't panic. This is like some stuff that you just need to take care of, get it
You
out
got
of
to
the
go
way
through. Right.
before, the abundance starts coming back in again.
That's
Um,
right.
like if the store is going through a slow period, like right now, I am dealing with this new building owner because our building sold that the store's in, and this has been troublesome at times. And that office space that we took over, like it turns out one of the heating units doesn't work. So there's been times where you're over there and I'm like freezing and dealing with that, and he tried to call the heating company that I use for my store side to keep up with my HVAC. He called them, told them to come trace those lines, but made it sound like it was my doing and my bill, and I'm like, oh no, it's not. Like, that's cute. No, that's the landlord, and that's common area maintenance over there. So you can let me know what you find, but that is his bill.
Yeah.
So there's been some issues, but it never fails. Like when those expenses stop, then all of a sudden, like we are busier than normal. There's more things coming in. It's hard to keep up. So I try to look at that time as like it's the time to relax, like pay off what you need, step back and relax because you're getting ready to be flooded with a bunch of other stuff. That's
Yeah,
good.
and I agree. I think, a lot of times when something is happening that's not pleasant, it's almost a learning experience for us.
Mhm.
You learn how to deal with it, and so next time if it happens, gee, it's not as bad. And I think that's part of life. I think, I mean, we're
Mhm.
not princesses, Life doesn't just, it isn't all lollipops. So,
Right. It's hard in that moment, but you got to try to remind yourself, like, what is this?
right, right.
You know. Um, Denise says it's is it real if I feel like I can feel my mother so strongly and sometimes feel like when I speak to her, um,
No, that's possible. Absolutely. Just because I don't see spirits that have crossed over doesn't mean other people don't. And a day that you are feeling especially close to somebody that's dead, or you start thinking about them for no, just out of the clear blue sky, that's usually a day they're visiting.
mhm,
And so, yeah, and hearing your mother's voice or your friend's voice or whoever in your head sounding like it's them talking, it very well could be. So, no, that's fine. I wouldn't even worry about that. That's actually a good thing.
a fun question. Yay, City. Thank you for asking. Have you ever seen an earthbound spirit with an ugly Christmas
Yes, I have.
tree?
Believe me, if people were Christmas people when they were alive, they are still Christmas people when they're dead. Just yeah, pay attention to the next couple podcasts.
There we go, guys. So if you haven't found us to subscribe, please do so you can listen. It's free everywhere except Apple. You can go back and listen to me complain on other episodes of me and Apple with this
Apple,
podcast.
right.
Deborah says, I have lost contact with an old friend named Soul Catcher. Has he passed on or still earthbound? And I'm asking this because you're not a psychic medium to be able to answer this, but this is going to lead into Tommy's question is, hi, just joining. Suggestions on connecting with a past loved one. So I know you can reference about if they've been in dreams and kind of go from there.
Right. Yeah, and that's the best way to tell if nobody has had a dream of the person that died. First of all, let me back up a minute. Sometimes you're not going to get a dream from somebody that died for at least 6 months. It's very, very rare if it happens before then. Sometimes, oh, Brooke, sometimes it could take up to 2 years before you have a dream of somebody. And sometimes somebody you know will have a dream of a friend and tell you about it. But when you finally have a dream of somebody that died, that's where you can talk to them. It's very easy to talk to them. Anybody can do it. So, that's normally the best way to do it. I mean, I guess you can go to a seance or something like that, but nothing that I know how to do. So,
This is an interesting question because I've had in my old house the spirit mimic my voice to multiple people. Kim has asked Marianne, there's a spirit who is a doppelganger that takes on my look. It lurches at my husband at night and it scares him. Why is it doing this and what can we do to get rid of it?
why they're doing it is very simple, Kim. They need the energy, and look at the energy that you are throwing out there when your husband is swearing at you that's scaring him. So you need to start smudging seriously. I would smudge for sure at least every 12 days. Um, Give me a call or come on Zoom and let's see who it is or, what it is. Is it a man? It could be a woman or a man for that matter, because they can change their energy to look however they want. So, yeah, you can get rid of it, but they're just doing it for the energy. That's what they need.
And for those that are asking if you can speak with Marianne privately, Marianne does not do private sessions. About as private as you're going to get is joining the Zoom session. It's limited to 20 people. And everybody who signs up gets to ask 2 questions. You can ask if you have earthbounds in your house, or if you have a portal, if you have negative energy. So there's a few questions that you can choose to and ask whatever's the most predominant concern for you. But the amount of phone calls Marianne gets, like she just does not. Speaking of, like that.
Sorry about that. As soon as it's done, I will take it off the hook.
Otherwise, like you would have to call, example, and leave a message from wherever your concern is. So if you feel like you have spirits at home, then you would need to call from your house. And Marianne can tell by listening to the phone message.
Took the phone off the hook. It's off the hook now.
Okay. If you have spirits, usually, if you have a really, really pesky ghost, sometimes they will garble up that message and she doesn't even understand it or get it. So that definitely, unfortunately, means you have a ghost, but now she can't get back to you. So you have to call again or come on the Zoom.
Yeah, you noticed, I thought about this the other day. What would you say the percentages of somebody having 20 people? I would say at least 10 people every time have a ghost in the house, wouldn't you?
Seems like it. There's only been like a handful of times in what, 3 years? How long have we been doing this?
Right, that there hasn't been. And so, but I thought it's been interesting the way they can stop phone calls or me getting stuff from them. I wonder why, or why haven't they had, or haven't they figured out a way to stop the Zoom?
Don't put that challenge out there.
No,
Don't make my job harder.
Okay. Take it all back. Okay. Oh, geez.
Well, I mean, now think about it though. they have messed with some of them. There are certain people, like the last one that we had to
Yeah,
have that lady come back in and out a couple times because she
because
kept
of the
freezing,
computer.
the internet
Yeah,
would drop. So they do. Um,
but not as bad as the phone calls.
and I think part of that is because even though internet is fast, there's always a slight delay in between what I say and you hear. So you throw that internet connection, you throw Zoom, you throw a few other things in there. It's still really fast. It sounds like it's instant, but there's still enough time for them to get out part of that question before the connection goes down.
Right, right, right.
And the fact that we're live and I'm already seeing problems and I'm texting to them privately in chat, like go out and come back in. Whereas with a phone call, they don't know you didn't get it.
Right. And because, you know, these phones don't have caller ID. I
Mhm.
don't know who calls. So if I don't get the message, I don't get the message. Now, I have already gotten a message where it's been garbled, but the phone number, the area code's there, and all the numbers are there except the last one. It's garbled. And I have sat here and dialed that number from 0 to 9
Trying to find it.
trying to find who it is, especially if what I have seen is a man standing in a prison jumpsuit behind this woman. Yeah, I'm going to try to find her because I know what's in her house.
Mhm.
So, but I need a lot of time to do that sometimes.
So Zoom is best and quickest to get back
Yeah.
with Marianne. Dylan has a really good suggestion. I don't remember if Ted has an iPhone already, but he says, but if you get him one, the Apple Watch will alert you for falls.
We have a watch. The watch that we ended up getting was more important because if he puts it up against his chest, if this part is on his chest, it will tell him what his blood pressure is, which is good to know before he stands up if he's laying down or sitting, because that's usually when he goes down when he stands up.
Mm.
So between I figured it was better to try to stop the fall than alert me when the fall is taken. I guess he could wear two watches. No. But he does have a smartphone though.
Does he
So
have? Okay.
yeah, he does.
Brooke has a question about the podcast. Wonder what kind of underwear Harriet considered fancy. Probably lacy.
Lacy, bright colored. I don't think back then that there were thongs or tongs or whatever you call the string underwear. I don't think there was stuff like
Marianne.
that. It's not something that is on my list to buy, believe me.
We should all just get you a bunch of tongs for Christmas. I'll get
Yeah. Well,
uh,
what are the things? See, I didn't understand. Why would you call them a thong? Isn't that what the shoes are called that your toes just go through?
well, I think they're called that for that strip that goes between the toes. So that strip of leather that goes between the toes, the equate of the strip of fabric that goes between the jeans.
Gotcha.
I could be. Where's Lewis? He's in fashion.
Don't
Lewis,
know.
we
I
need
don't
you.
know. I don't know what that's
Come
all about.
correct me. Karen says, "Do you know of a reader in Wayne County? I had one that asked for gifts when I would see her."
Yeah, that's not one you want to see.
Mm-mm.
Believe me. You know what? In all honesty, Wayne County is very close to Medina. It's very close to Cuyahoga County. Melissa has a good list of all kinds of readers. When we lived there, I knew two people that I would have recommended. They are now both dead. So I haven't lived down in Wayne County now for over 30 years. So I really don't know who's down there anymore. But there's plenty of good ones up here. And there's so many good ones that can even uh, Some of them will even come to you. So, ask Melissa. She can get you, find you a good one.
Yeah, and our readers, all but like a couple, will do it over Zoom or FaceTime, so you don't have to drive out to the store to have a reading, especially come wintertime in Ohio, because
Yeah,
winter's 9 months of the year. Um,
seems like it.
Bridget asks if someone is attached to you, are they ever protecting you, or is it always malice?
Earthbound spirits are not your protectors. They are the ones that need human energy and they drain you. That is why 9 times out of 10, a person that is in your house or attached to you would not be a relative or a friend because they wouldn't do that to you. So it's usually a total stranger.
And Melanie asks, have Earthbounds from the portal ever try to bully other Earthbounds into going into a portal too? Does the Earthbounds have the choice to enter the portal or not?
I think we did a podcast, or is that one coming up where the ghost asked somebody to come with them?
I know we just talked about it.
Yeah, I that answer may be in one of the podcasts soon, but actually that does not happen very often. But this ghost wanted her to go with him.
I
For sure.
listened to like four the other day in editing, so
Yeah, who knows?
they
Right.
were all back to back to back to back. Let
Right, right.
me tell you, by the end of it, I hate the sound of my own voice.
And I bet you really hate mine.
No, no, mine. I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking again. Let's see. Amy also wondered what kind of fancy underwear it was that the husband never saw it. Well, she may not have even had it in the apartment. It made it sound like that mother-in-law like knew she went and got it and immediately.
Right. And I don't know about your significant others, but they really don't. My husband, after 55 years, doesn't go in my underwear drawer. I mean, there would be no reason for that. So, I mean, think about it. Would your husband or your wife go? I mean, wives may be putting away underwear after they folded for their husband or whatever, but that's usually not reversed. So, after it was bought, she was just such a terrible lady to go pull it all out and let her husband freak out over it.
She said, talk about micromanagement and her hand in everything that was completely not her business, that she should have had no say in whatsoever.
People nowadays call moms helicopter moms that do that. I wonder what the name was for back then. Just a nudge? I don't.
Probably words I shouldn't say
Oh, there you go.
on
Okay.
live. I mean, um, can portals open up from someone shooting up drugs in a house? And how many is the most portals you ever seen in one house?
If it's a violent drug reaction after they shut up, so to speak, yeah. I mean, anything that's very negative. The most portals I've seen in a private home are two.
Mm,
Now you're talking a theater or a hospital or many, 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 many. It just depends.
let's see. Do earthbounds show emotion like when they are alive, or are their personalities pretty flat? Do they cry, get depressed? We know they get angry sometimes, depending on what's going on
They
with
do.
funeral arrangements.
That's right. They have their whole array of emotions like they did when they were alive. So yes, they can be sad, they can be depressed, they can be angry, they can be happy. Not so much always happy, but I've already seen them smiling watching kids play or something like that. So yeah, they're all there. You don't lose that just because you die.
Mm.
Some people should lose some of their personalities, but not usually.
We wish,
Yeah,
like you're pedophiles, you're creepy people,
correct. But
you're dirty
unfortunately,
mother-in-laws.
right, unfortunately, the bad ones like what they're doing, and so they'll never change.
Right. Vangela asks, for Earthbounds who died unexpectedly from murder or an accident, do they know how to get back to their house or loved ones?
Absolutely. And how do they know? I don't know. But they know how to get, like I said, they know how to get from here to Paris if that's what they wanted to do. So, yeah, no, they can go anywhere they want just by thinking about it. That's energy. I mean, I'm sure somebody out there knows how fast light travels and all of that stuff. So, that's energy and that's the way they move.
Um, do, 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 do. With it being the last full moon of the year, is it going to have even more of an effect on the earthbounds? Inquiring minds of Sandy asking.
Yeah, no, it's still just a full moon. This one is not an eclipse or anything like that. Um, and Melissa can put her fingers in her ears, but the Mercury retrograde starts the last week of the month. So, but we won't.
Mama, 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 mama.
That's probably all we're going to say about that.
Because
Yeah, we don't want our eyeballs to fall out. So,
right. I mean, they're kind of dry already. If they
yeah,
fall
right.
out of my head, then I got to get more like drops and which I was listening to a podcast where a woman like poisoned her husband with Visine eye drops. Like, did you know you could do that?
Yeah, didn't you know that?
No.
I learned that a long time ago in Criminal Minds.
Like, huh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it makes them very, very, very sick if you put it in drinks and stuff. It has
Yeah,
nothing
that's
to
what
do
she
with
was
their
doing.
eyeballs, but they put it in a drink. Yeah.
Yeah, she was putting it in the coffee.
I mean, apparently it's odorless and tasteless like
Like a saline, right? Yeah.
antifreeze.
Oh,
That'll kill you too. And apparently that's sweet. So if you put it in soda or orange juice or cherry juice or something, you don't know you're drinking poison.
so
I
yes.
know.
I
I
see.
know.
See, you're more of the true crime fan than what you let on, Marianne.
I had an event this past Sunday and somebody asked something, and I said, well, for any of you that ever want to kill somebody, the one thing that you can use to clean up that luminol that the police use or they can't find is Mr. Clean. If you use Mr. Clean, they'll never find any blood spatter.
All right. So today's episode is going to be renamed How to Get Away with Murder. Visine, antifreeze, Mr. Clean. Okay. Back on track.
Yeah, let's get back on track.
Y'all know nothing. You heard nothing. Shush. Had a dream about my dad, but in the dream, I knew it wasn't him. Something pretending, I think. Freaked me out. So could
Well,
some sort of
here's the thing.
do that?
Yeah, earthbound spirits cannot get into dreams. So so it wouldn't have been an earthbound spirit. Wow,
Yeah,
trying
hello.
to manipulate your dreams. It just sounds to me like you were just having a really creepy dream. But I don't think that really means anything. Sometimes a dream is just a plain old dream.
It could be some subconscious things, and you know. Karen says, "What is happening when I hear my name being called out?" And it has happened at different places and at work.
Earthbound spirits can call your name out. The most common one is people that have young children in the house in the middle of the night. They will hear mommy, mommy. And of course, you jump out of bed to see what's wrong with the kid, and the kid's sound asleep. So, yeah, it's not unusual to hear where a husband has sworn his wife has called him and she wasn't even home. So, yeah, you can hear voices. And I do have to admit, though, they are usually earthbound spirits that are doing it, not ones that crossed over.
Well, when I put up that other question, I said I had this issue. It was, mimicking. It was more of my voice that this woman, I think it was the woman that was blocked out. But like I would be folding laundry in my living room, and the house was pretty decently sized, and my dad was working on the car in the garage. My mom comes in and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "How am I in trouble in my own house? Like I'm folding laundry and watching TV." She's like, "You keep yelling." And every time your dad and I are like, "What?" You don't say anything. You just keep saying, "Mom, mom, dad." She's like, what do you want? I'm like, that wasn't me.
Yep.
Not
And
me.
they could do that. Absolutely.
My girlfriend came over, was, staying the night with her and her daughter, and she was crashed out downstairs. And the next morning, she's like, "You's a smart bitch." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "After you went to bed upstairs, she's like, you kept yelling down the stairs for me." And she's like, "You did it multiple times." And finally, she's like, "I opened the door," and she's like, "Bitch, what do you want?" She's like, "And then you didn't say." She's like, "You're funny." And I'm like, "No, I crashed. Like, I was out hard. That wasn't me." So that's why I said I've had that in that house.
That was a unique house anyway, but and again, disrupts your sleep. You don't sleep good. You start thinking about it. Why is she doing that? And it's just all to aggravate you. That's all it is, to get more energy.
Mhm.
That's the bottom line.
Well, I always found it interesting, Mary. Like, I never perceived her. Like, I never picked up on anything what this woman was doing. It was the man, but it was later, after the kids are gone for the summer, and it's just me in the house, that I then couldn't blame it on the kids, the boys, the ex-husband. And he was the one who was more troublesome, really. The one that would hang out around the bedroom and everything, was waking up with like scratches and stuff. So,
It's really weird. Usually, women earthbound spirits are usually sneakier than the men. Usually. Okay. I don't know if it's they have more of an imagination or they're more willing to try things. Uh, women are so much stronger in so many different areas than a man, and being a ghost, unfortunately, is one of them.
mhm.
So,
Wendy says, earlier this year, I was concerned that my mother in law hadn't crossed over because she was cremated, and that wasn't her wish. I asked you all about it. I am pleased to say that she and my father in law were in a dream a few weeks ago.
perfect, 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 perfect.
Um, Queens and Ghouls said my friend John had issues with his Zoom meeting about his daughter, and that it's still trouble to this day. So they're still, but I think they're out of state, so you're not able to get down there and clear it.
Oh, oh, oh.
And Sandy's like, I thought I was the only one that didn't have, or the only one, last one, that had a landline phone.
Nope, that's the only one I use.
Um, let's see. I got a lot to catch up on here. Brooke's like, ghost are rude.
Yeah, some of them really are.
Let's see. So while I am looking for some comments, Marianne will be in the store because we're getting close to 11 here. Um, Amy's like, Visine, my ex-husband was poisoned by his third wife by putting it in his iced tea. He had heart trouble because of it.
Do you think that's odd that that's even on the market?
Well, part of me, I'm like, who's
Thank
sitting
you.
around going, what happens if I put this in here?
I know. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Add to
Yeah.
cart, Mr. Clean.
Yeah, right. You never know when you need it.
Oh, Tanya says, I'm just coming on. What about dry eyes and Mercury retrograde? Um, and Brooke's like, this took a dark turn.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, catch the rerun.
yeah, many.
Many, many, many incidences about it. Yeah.
So it's pretty much, it comes down to what side of the fence are you on about astrology, Mercury retrograde. I'm on one side, Marianne's on the other. And we like to poke fun at one another over it, and it's all in good fun and good jest.
Right, 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 right.
Um,
But
let's.
I will tell you,
Mhm.
everything that had to be bought or movers or signing final papers, I can assure you, all that has been done before the Mercury retrograde starts because I'm not taking any chances.
Oh, and Sandy says, good thing I know I get to keep my snark when you pass over.
You do.
And Amy says she is definitely ready for more WTF letters. I almost said the full thing. Had to catch myself. um, do all earthbounds know that they are draining your energy?
Yeah, they figured that out pretty quick because they know once they've been in the presence of live people, they feel better. They're stronger. So, yeah, one and one adds up to two pretty quick in that situation.
Right, right. Oh, I see somebody commenting to Divine, and I there we go. Hi, Divine. I saw somebody reference. I'm like, I didn't see her come on. So hello, hello, friend. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
And the comment about you can't find the link, it's been right here on the screen the whole time. Like that's the link
You
for the
know,
Zoom.
there's been a lot of phone calls or texts too, apparently. My webmaster said, okay, Melissa, you're the computer person. When people say that they go to my website and they can't find something,
You can't get the site.
apparently, if they do something called refresh, it'll be all new stuff on their computer. They don't refresh it, whatever that means.
Sometimes refreshing can help, or they need to go in, like depending on how often they're visiting your site or my site for that matter. You need to go in and delete out your cookies and history because what browsers will do to make the pages load quicker for you, to make your internet experience faster and better. If you're going to a site often enough, it's going to start saying, "Oh, this is what it looked like last time," and just kind of like pull that up. So if there's new things on there, it may not load until you clear out those cookies because it's auto loading.
And I think that's what's happening with my website. I think a lot of I can't find this, I can't, but they're looking at a website or the pages that were on 2 months ago, not now.
Hmm.
So, and I, like I says, all I know is that the word was refresh. If they did something called refresh, that it would help it. So I'm
Hmm.
just throwing it out there. I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at your site right now. So if you're on Instagram, you're actually seeing me on the site because the camera's pointed at my computer screen. And right on there, the meet and greet listed for December 17th at 1, and the Zoom's already up on there. So
Yeah,
they're there.
and see, the message came in yesterday that there's nothing on your computer about January's, and this was last night about the Zoom. And I know it's up. So she
It's
must have
there.
to refresh or whatever it's called. Yeah. So,
Mhm. So there's nothing different because we're doing what we have to do by keeping it new, keeping it up there. Sometimes we need you guys to refresh your cookies, redo, kind of clear out that old browsing history so the new page can actually load. It is always on our list of events on the website under the Zoom events, the Spirited Earring Evening, not earring, Evening with Marianne. And it's going to automatically pop up the date that has available spots. Please don't email me or call me and tell me that my site's broken because you can't get in on a like this coming 9th. You can't because it's full. It's not broken, it's full. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's automatically showing you what's available. So that's why I say do not wait to the last minute to jump on Zoom because they fill up quick. And then I spend a day or two before the Zoom event like fielding phone calls and emails. Like, no, this is the next one. Yes, I'm serious. This
yeah.
is what
And
it
no,
is.
don't call here either because I can't change it. I don't know how to change it. That's Melissa's part of the job.
Yeah.
So, no, not mine.
Um, so December 17th, here's where we're going to, because I started to talk about when we got site. December 17th is in person at Goddess Elite at the store. And the fun thing about that day is this is coinciding with some local vendors that we're going to have as well. So if you still have some Christmas shopping to do and you like unique handmade gifts, you can come out. There's a new vendor that I hadn't seen, and even in any other places that I've vended at, it's a local barbecue company, and I'm kind of excited about this one because they have some supposedly really good spicy barbecue, and I want to try them out.
What, the sauce they sell?
Yep,
Oh,
it's made locally barbecue sauce called Smothered and Zing. So they will be there. But we've got some vendors from East Side, West Side, all different because I try to make a point that I don't have a bunch of vendors selling the same thing. That's no fun, and it's not fair to them. So December 17th in person. Marianne will be there 1 to 4. The vendor event is 12 to 4. So you can come out, and there may or may not be Krampus walking around for a couple hours during that time. So come on out to the shop on the 17th. January 6th is the next Zoom. You can get into that one. You cannot get into December 9th. It is full. So if you want to Zoom, there is the link that's been up the whole time. You will have access to the 6th. I'm going to go over and refresh my booking page and make sure. We've already had 2 more people sign up, but there is still plenty of room. We have 14 spaces available for that night. So it will be January 6th,
Right.
which is a Friday. It starts at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you're out of that time zone, please adjust accordingly so you can be there with us. We go until everybody who is there on Zoom asks their questions. If you forget to adjust your time and we're wrapping up at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we're on our way out and you're just now showing up, we're done. Everybody else showed up on time. We're done. We've been doing that for 3 hours. We're done. Please show up on time.
Right.
I do let people keep coming in a little late. Like sometimes they don't get there till 7:45, 8 o'clock, 8:10. As long as we're still in the midst of doing it, I'm gonna let you in. But don't show up as we're closing down. We're done.
Now, it's interesting. We normally do the second Friday of each month, but which would have been really cool because the second Friday in January is Friday the 13th. So I was thinking, oh, that'd be really cool. I'm moving the day before. Never going to happen.
Right. If you're on Instagram, I see Brooke popped over. If that's still Brooke, but so you can see all of the comments that I'm constantly fielding while doing this. So February, we'll probably back to our second Friday and like fourth Monday, but
Right.
January, just holidays, Marianne's moving, just a little bit of a rest period.
Yeah.
Do I have a list of vendors? I sure do on our Facebook events. If you're not on Facebook, I do believe it went out in the email. So there's quite a few local artists coming out. And again, if you're on Instagram, you're getting to see my tabs that I'm pulling open. I'll do a quick copy paste here into chat, just so everybody can read the list. And there may be more being added because we still have room to fit a couple more. So there's a list in chat there for you of all the vendors, and Marianne as well. Marianne has her own event on our Facebook page, so you don't see her in that list of vendors because that's the vendor. But Marianne will be there, and there could be a Krampus walking around, so behave.
Yeah, bring your pictures. Let me look up at your pictures, and if you have questions, and kids are fine at this one, right?
Now Brooke's on Insta. She's everywhere, guys. Bring your pictures, bring your sometimes like people will have things on their phone to listen to. You can listen that way. Get your book signed. We are not sticklers that if you don't buy your book that day, it can't be signed. If you've got it sitting on the shelf, you can bring it.
Yeah, absolutely, bring it. You bought it at one point, I'll sign it anyway.
That's right. So yeah, bring your things, Marianne. You're gonna have all of your goodies, your smudge soap that everybody loves, a sea salt soap.
Yeah, everybody, everything will be there. Between your store and my store and what's available from the other vendors, I'm sure that everybody can get all their stockings stuffed with good stuff.
I mean, and some of these vendors were with me last month, and their stuff was so cute. The one lady, she crochets like little anime characters and stuff. So if you got people that are into little characters, and you'll find it. People love that sea salt soap of yours. I hope you have enough for everybody coming out. Because
I have a large amount I made her make. Yeah, no, I figured because that's such an easy stocking stuffer. And like you're right, people love that soap. It's great.
You know what, Melanie, normally I would say, sure, send it to the store, but I'm going to ask you to hold off right now. Marianne comes to the store pretty regularly every few months. With it being holiday time, busy as heck, Marianne moving, I don't want to risk losing your book. So if you wouldn't mind waiting till like maybe springtime, could you wouldn't even have to wait for an event to Marianne sign. You could sign it and Marianne, like we get together every now and then too outside of work. That'll be like, hey, can
Right.
you sign Melanie's book so I can ship it.
Sure.
Um, Divine has a good question. When is the last date to order before Christmas?
Huh. That's probably a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
Ted is coming.
Okay.
No,
Brett,
I would.
so on Instagram, I need seeds. If you're local to us, come that day and you can buy them right then and there at the shop on the 17th. Otherwise, you can order them from Marianne's website, and we're getting ready to inquire with Ted about the last shipping date for holiday.
Ted?
Oh, and a good point. Brad Face says, print your pictures if you don't want your phone killed on the 17th. Marianne,
What,
look for your phone.
what's the last day people have to order stuff from the store to get it by Christmas?
Christmas is on Sunday. 21st, I would think.
20th, 21st. He figures it should be able to be there within 5 days.
Oh, yeah. Come out and get a book signed. It'll be fun.
Right.
And I think right now, I mean, granted, it's still a little bit of time, but as of right now, the weather's looking good leading up to there, so we should be good.
Oh, yeah, I think we're fine.
And Divine says the cats have to be able to sit on the package. If they aren't up to it, I will wait.
Oh, you're funny, Divine. Oh, you're cute. Ted and his cats, he has a little stamp that goes on the top of every package that goes out that says, sat on by a cat?
This order sat on by a cat.
Oh, this order sat on by a cat.
That's adorable.
So you'll get it. You'll get it.
Just wanted to say thank you you're welcome. And thank you guys for showing up all the time and helping out. And I promise I got to get Instagram a little more often to do this. I'm going to try and keep Instagram more often, but thank you guys for showing up. It makes it fun and it helps do this. Cause I know we could sit here and talk and act like there's people there and it's just not as fun. So thank you guys for showing up. Please share, tell friends, other people who might have an interest in this, bring them in. Cause it just keeps the questions moving and it's not the same things always all the time. Cause when you get those unique questions, that's where we get the good conversations going.
Right. I mean, the mundane stuff, everybody already knows. We want to know the oddball stuff that's happening. So
yeah.
Definitely.
Brooke, what stones did you mention were good for anxiety? Lepidolite and angelite. For some people, blue calcite. But the fun thing with lepidolite, what makes it purple is lithium. So
and we may as well say with stones, I know you're going to have to brace yourself, but what stones are good for a Mercury retrograde?
So we have blue aventurine, we have sodalite, we have lapis lazuli. In some instances, because we're talking about communication, listening, as well as speaking clearly and being able to interpret, sometimes citrine. So even though it falls out of that blue, it's that whole knowledge and study. So sometimes citrine can help for some people. But almost always green, blue aventurine. I almost said green because green's the prosperity one. Blue aventurine, sodalite, lapis lazuli. Usually those pieces are going to be $2 for the blue aventurine, 2 to 3, and sodalite, depending on size, and lapis is like 4 to 6. It's just a more expensive stone because of where it's coming from.
And people that carry stones, there's and I don't even know if you're aware of this, Melissa. All of the stones that are good for Mercury retrograde have to be carried on your left side, not your right side. If you're using a stone to bring something in, you put it on your right side. If you're wearing a stone to keep something away, you put it on your left side. Because things come in your left and go out your right.
Is that always, or if you're right-handed?
I have seen it work for left or right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause I know,
because
like,
left or it doesn't make any difference what you are, it's the flow. And when stuff comes to you, even if you're right-handed, it still comes in your left side.
okay. Because I've seen certain healing modalities be like, well, because you're right-handed, and I'm like, well, what if you're left? Then you got to flip that rule.
No, not for this. This is pretty straight. And again, you know, I've gotten this information from like 3 different people. There's probably 8 people out there that say, no, 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 it's got to be the other way. So,
Mhm.
try it and see what works for you. Yeah. So, but usually that's the way it works. So,
What stones are good for feeling drained? Carnelian, garnet, your oranges and reds, they're going to be that lower area of the body, but like garnet is really good for fatigue, lethargy. I know a lot of nurses that carry it because of the amount of shifts and the lengths of shifts that they work. Um, so question on Instagram, it says we had to put our 15-year-old dog down Monday. How do I know if she crossed over?
eventually you will see her in a dream too. The animals, your pets come back to you in a dream too. And in all honesty, it's usually faster than 6 months. How much does a pet have to learn when they go to heaven? So they come back pretty quick, but you will see them in the dream. And don't be surprised if you hear the dog in the house
Mhm.
because they visit. So you may hear toenails on the tile or, clumping on the steps or something. And that could be them visiting. So
Mhm. Thank you everybody for reminding to hit like, share, subscribe. Thank you, ladies, for really helping out. Um, Now keep in mind, depending on what platform you're watched, you'll see a different number of likes. So I see we're like, I only see 9 likes, hit like. And so he's like, I see 17. So it depends on what platform you're watching on. But thank you guys for helping pimp us out.
yeah,
Tell your friends, tell your family, anybody that has a remote interest in this, please tell. Especially if at some point you would like us to travel out a little more, we need to know that there's enough people there that would be willing to make the travel
Oh
worthwhile.
yeah, we would do an event someplace if there was enough of a, group that would come out,
Mhm.
by the time we pay travel and rent the place or whatever the fee is, we
Mhm.
have to have you guys there to make up the difference. So, but definitely we do that.
Yep. Yep. So that's the secret behind when we do the in-person events, other than when it's at the store, because that's free, right? I pay that rent regardless. We have to pay to rent whatever building we're in, and then what kind of setup is going in, and so we have to put all that money out front to do the in-person. So that's why we say if you want us to be able to come around, we have to be able to know that there's enough people who want to listen to us talk.
And to be fair too, since COVID, I hate COVID. Uh, you know, I could we could get a room for an event for like $400 or $500. You
Mhm.
know, the event this past Sunday cost me over 1,000 to attend.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and so what are you going to do?
Yeah. The prices of everything's going up, travel, rental.
Terrible.
Um, so it's a little bit more of a challenge. That's why it's like, please share. Thank you for coming with us every Wednesday. Please share. Please help find more people. You're welcome, Brooke. I made her a mod on Twitch to help keep an eye on the spams. So thank you. We are on Twitch as well. So and if you need help and identifying your stones when you bring either myself or Emily, she's one of our workers and crystal healers. So she's just as up as I am on stones. So she's another one to ask if you come out to see Marianne and you got a pocket of stones and you need help remembering what they are. But thank you, everybody. Tell your friends, invite, let us know for if you're going to come out on I was going to say on Wednesday on the 17th.
No,
Don't
wrong.
come out on Wednesday.
No, no, no Wednesday. No, no,
This
no.
is my day off.
Right.
So when we're done with this, then we record podcast and then I edit on my
Right. So there's no such thing as a day off in our jobs. Believe me,
No,
doesn't exist.
I sometimes miss working for the man at big box retail only
Yeah,
because
you
like
could just leave. Your day was done. Not
no,
anymore. Mm-mm.
no,
No,
no.
when I can't sleep at night, I found out the best way to do it is I go back thinking, what can I do for a podcast? And that'll usually knock me out in a heartbeat.
This is where you need your pen and paper right next to you to start
And they
writing.
are. Yeah.
There's been time just questions, and I need to start using my voice recorder on my phone just for ideas either because I have mine in your podcast and I have one for the store that I've been very neglectful on. There aren't as many episodes on that one just because trying to come up, it's like a full-time job producing. I'm glad you have the stories ready to go because I would I'm like, oh, because what's repetitive to me may not be repetitive to somebody else. So, and that's where I get stuck with sometimes with the store podcast. So Holly will come up. She's like, I could do one about Yule. Thank you. I could do one. Thank you.
Right. And that's it, trying to come up with it. And in my case, I'm trying to remember details that happened 30 and 40 years ago.
Hmm.
And it's like, wow, and I write it all down so that I could, oh no, I didn't do that. I did this. So it
Hmm.
probably takes me at least 2 hours to prepare each podcast.
And you know what, you guys, when you join us on Wednesdays, and just like with Lewis, he asked a question and that turned into a good episode. So feel free to ask questions or even put suggestions in. I usually have pen and paper, which is sitting right there to where I make notes for ideas, be it for this one or for the store.
Well,
'Cause I
yeah, if people suggest, can you do an event here or there? You always write it down and we check it out to see if it's doable.
Mhm. So yeah, you guys are so much more helpful than maybe you even realize, helping us keep this going and
Right.
podcasts and everything else. So thank you guys. What time on the 17th? Marianne is there from 1 to 4 and the vendor event's 12 to 4. So if you figure just 12 to 4, you'll catch
Yeah.
it all.
There's a little restaurant next to your store and we'll stop there and grab a late breakfast and just come over. So
And I will be there 9:30, 10 o'clock to start letting the vendors in to set up for that day.
yeah.
So
And even Tara, for those of you that know Tara, she's going to be stopping in around 1 o'clock just to say hi. So
you get to see two Ghost Whisper people.
together, what do you know?
I mean, that 12 to 2, 3 o'clock window. I mean, you got the vendors, you got Marianne, you got Tara,
Right.
and then you got Krampus.
Right. It's going to be the place to be on the 17th.
There you go. Oh, here's a fun question. Thank you, Brooke. And maybe podcast. Have you ever seen a Santa Claus Earthbound? Somebody that was just a Santa Claus.
No, I haven't. But I wonder if Santa would fall into the little folk category.
There are some books and traditions. He would, and then if you're up with Norse, Santa and his sleigh and reindeer are Odin
Right.
based.
So again, and maybe that's why nobody really ever sees Santa, because when he's filling your stockings and you walk in, he pops out into another dimension.
Could be.
You never know. That's the mystery of Christmas.
Fun
Somebody
time.
just pop in there, Melissa?
Just the boy.
Oh, okay.
And I thought maybe he was going to peek around and be like, look, there he is. But no, he's
He's not there. Okay.
yes. So please like, share, join us next Wednesday. Same ghost time, same ghost channel. So you don't get in trouble with that.
Yeah.
And I will try and do a better job of remembering to start Instagram. Like I literally remembered that like as I was getting ready. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Here we go. But it worked.
With my fancy schmancy stand that is completely propped with stuff from the cabinet next to me. So yes, the two that we're getting ready to record for the next 2 weeks are going to be holiday Christmas themed. So
and I'm working on maybe I'll figure out one for New Year's. Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. Well, you know what? They can go back and listen to the New Year's one that we did early in the year about the prosperity things to do at the start of the year.
Oh,
So that
that's right. That's the beginning of the podcast. Yeah, that's probably good enough. So I'll come up with
so, you know, unless you have some fun stories that happen at New Year's time.
I don't know how many could be actually put out there. Some of them are a little private.
There we go.
Oh, now, and Brooke is going, I want to
Well,
know
well, and
what's
Christine's
more.
like, "Yay, it didn't get knocked over." All right, guys. Thank you for joining. We're gonna go record podcasts for you now.
We'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye.